There is a reason you can't stay focused. There is a reason why you feel disconnected from your wife, from your kids, from your business, and from your drive. And it's not because you're lazy. It's because you've been emotionally and chemically looped. You see, your brain has been hijacked. You've been trained to chase dopamine instead of discipline. And in this video, I'm going to expose the hidden reason why your wife, your kids, your business, your peace seem to all fall through the cracks. Why you keep being stuck in this procrastination, being addicted to things that don't really serve you, like scrolling, like porn, like junk food, and what to do about it. But before we go there, I'm just going to ask you to subscribe and to like, because this message needs to reach more men who've been stuck for way too long. In this video, we're going to cover the following: why you wake up with good intentions and still fall into the same patterns. What's actually happening in your brain when you scroll, when you lash out or zone out. How a chemical loop called dopamine rewards you for staying numb. Why emotional reactions like blame, guilt, anger are addictive. And how to break free not by trying harder, but by building systems that fight back. But first, let's examine something. What is dopamine? Now look, contrary to popular belief, dopamine isn't pleasure, it's the pursuit. It's the chemical your brain releases when it believes that something good or pleasurable is about to happen. So that's why you don't really need to win in life, you just need to chase. And that's what you've been doing. Dopamine is the anticipation, it's not pleasure. And you get a hit before the reward, just from the chase. So every time you open your phone, you scroll, you swipe, you click. Every time you get some junk food, even every time you even think about junk food, every time you rehearse in your head the last battle you had with your ex, every time you think about revenge, every time you lash out in anger and guilt, you get dopamine hit. Every time you even think about that, you get dopamine hit. So you're looped. And I remember when I was stuck in it, and possibly that's where you are as well. Even before I opened my eyes, or like just about to wake up and just open my eyes, I would pick up my phone and swipe and scroll and look into it and text and notifications. And I felt busy, and from the morning I just numbed myself to my own life, numbed myself to my own feeling, to my own being. Then I would go about life being in this numbness. And then as I go in life, I wouldn't be able to sit still. When I have food, I have my phone next to me. When I'm with my kids, I have my phone next to me. When I was with my kids, in the park, for example, they were playing, Daddy, Daddy, come play with me. All I was thinking, and I'm ashamed to admit it, all I was thinking, I don't want to play with you. I want to go sit on my phone. I wanted to distract myself, to sedate myself. Little did I know I was chasing this dopamine hit. It's crazy. But that's what it did to my life. So what's the actual process of this dopamine looping? Well, at the beginning, there is pain. And what is this pain? Well, something happened that made you experience an emotion. It can be anger, sadness, guilt, shame, grief, anger, rage, blame, sense of unworthiness, sense of a failure, like you're a failure, like you're stupid, like you're a loser. Whatever there is this level of pain that's internal to you. Maybe you lost a friend, maybe somebody divorced you, right? Maybe somebody cheated on you, maybe you saw some news and the political party candidate that you were supporting did not win. Whatever happened, you have pain. Now the next step here is that we as men, most of us were never taught how to deal with that pain, how to deal with our emotions. Most of us are completely disconnected from our emotions. And so what happens in that moment when you have this pain, stress and anxiety is created because we don't know what to do with it. We don't have a mechanism to deal with it. We don't have a system. And we as men, our mind is very structured. That's the advantage of men over women most of the time. If you're a man watching this, without structure, you get lost. And so stress and anxiety take over. And so when we have the stress and anxiety and we don't know what to do with that, we disconnect. It's automatically, we disconnect. And we immediately look for distractions. Screen time, junk food, overeating, things of that nature. And then we excuse ourselves. Well, I'm tired. Well, she's crazy. I'll do that tomorrow. And then we get addicted to drama, to sedation, to the dope hits. And that creates even more disconnection. And the more we play this loop, the more we're disconnected. And the more we're disconnected, the less we deal with the stress and anxiety that we have. And the pain and the events that cause the pain don't go away and we still didn't solve them. So those events amplify, lead to more problems. Those more problems lead to more pain. More pain leads to more stress and anxiety, leading to more disconnection, leading you to seeking more distractions, excuses, addictions, and more disconnect. So it's those loops that feed each other. And most men in our society today, it's a global fucking problem. It's a pandemic. We're stuck in this loop and we have no idea how to exit. What that's called is the dead loop. Distractions, addictions, excuses, disconnect. Dead loop. And men who operate in this dead loop are simply stuck in survival. It's slow death. If you're stuck in this loop, you possibly notice that every day resembles the other. It's the Groundhog Day. It's like you feel like a zombie sometimes and you walk around and you see other zombies as well. You're stuck in this busyness, but nothing really changes in your life. And another important point I want to bring to the table is that you can get dope hits from emotions and not just happy emotions. Like, oh, I have joy, I have a dope hit. No, you can get dope hits from anger. You can get dope hits from guilt. You can get dope hits from rage and expressing that, even from shame, from pity party, from victimhood. You can get dopamine hits. Imagine this, your brain releases particles of anticipated pleasure when you're about to experience anger or when you're about to experience pain, sadness, hurt. That's crazy. You get addicted to the negative emotions. For example, you're thinking about this last fight with your ex and you're raging about this. You get dope hit. You're thinking about how you're going to revenge yourself on her. You get a dope hit. And so what happens, your brain begins to look for ways to actually get those ideas in practice. And so guess what? Next time you talk to her, your brain hijacks you and creates more conflict so that you can get dope hit. It does not serve your life, but your brain is happy. And funky enough, your brain thinks that it's protecting you in that moment. So it's not going to stop right now. So when you look in your life, with all the different problems, with all the drama and trauma and the divorce and the complexities and the difficulties of your life, well, look no further than this dead loop caused by the dopamine hit loop. Your brain has been hijacked. Now that you know this, I just want to ask you a quick question. If you could, please put in comments, what's your loop? What have you been hijacked? Is it anger? Is it guilt? Is it sadness? Is it grief? Is it blame? Please put a comment. And I'm going to make sure to answer every single one of them. Now, here is a big problem. Why willpower doesn't work. There are a lot of different programs, a lot of books written out there, how to deal with those addictions and those distractions. And a lot of it rely on willpower. And here is the problem with that. Willpower comes from the prefrontal cortex and its power is limited. But that's just part of the problem. The real problem is that willpower, we're trying to work on distractions themselves. We try to use willpower to prevent a symptom of a problem. We're not actually dealing with the problem. And the problem is there is no system to deal with stress and anxiety, and there is no systemic way to deal with pain and to deal with the problems behind that pain. That's why we're going to disconnect and we distract and excuse and addict. And so willpower is only used here towards distractions. So that's why it fails. It cannot win. It's like going to a gunfight with a spoon. What are you going to do? You're dead. Literally. So here's the thing. The real reason why you're stuck in this loop, it's not even, well, yeah, it's the dope hits and the dope loop. But the real reason you're there is that you don't have power. Your power has been switched off. You've been stripped from your power, from your personal power. You don't have it anymore. That's why you're stuck in this loop. And what you need right now, it's not willpower. You need a system to bring your power back. Therapy is not going to do it for you. Motivation is not going to do it for you. Reading books is not going to give it for you. You need a structure and a system that can do that for you. And the system has 4 parts. Let me explain what you actually need. The first thing you need to do is get real. You need to understand your reality, because becoming aware of where you are, the facts about your life, to what's happening behind the curtain, to what's truly happening in your life, where you're at, what are the different facts, how you got here, where do you actually want to be, and what's the path there, what do you need to do, what kind of mindset, skill set, activities that you need to do on a daily basis to get there. It sounds like work. Well, that's part of reality. There is work. Or you can be stuck in that dead loop, and that's fine. The second step is you need to establish a system to reclaim your identity. And that means transform pain into drive. And I want to make this analogy because your pain, those difficult emotions, they're not your enemy. They're not disempowering in and out of themselves. What's disempowering is that you don't know how to use them to propel yourself higher. You know, the effort that you will need in order to establish the reality and in order to establish the good systems and continue working actually comes from that pain. I want you to think about as the oil reservoir under the earth. It doesn't smell very good and it's all sticky, but when you start burning it, it gives lots of energy. It burns. So that's what you need to do. You need to refine this raw oil into diesel, into gasoline, and burn so that you can advance in life. So those emotions, the rage, the guilt, the shame, all of this pain, that's your oil that you need to refine. So in the identity system, you refine that oil, make it the gasoline, and fuel your life car so that you can be propelled further. You need a system to build your systems. What does that mean? Well, in simple terms, you need to build better habits. Okay? Once you're able to transform your pain into drive, now you're not conditioned anymore. You don't need to disconnect anymore. You're connected to yourself. Now you need to use this drive to go somewhere. So imagine you have plenty of gasoline and you start burning it, but you don't have a car to actually drive somewhere. Well, that car is your system. You need to build that new habits. And eventually, you need a system to win the engagement through communication and through leadership. Now that you led yourself through the rise cycle, you can lead other people as well. It starts with your kids, maybe with your ex, in your business, in your community, in your purpose, all around you. You can look, well, what is this all about? What are the facts? Who do I need to be to solve this problem? What do I need to do and what do I need to put in practice to solve this problem? And who do I need to engage around me to solve this problem? And then you rise. And then the problem is solved. And then you feel like $1 million and you say, I like this game. And then you restart and you rise again. Small problems, big problems, one day, a decade. It's the same freaking process. Once you get it and once you start applying it in your life, you will experience the level of freedom right now can be like just a mirage, but it's fucking real. I remember for myself, the first time when I understood the system, when I started applying it, I was sitting there and I noticed that my hand was going to grab my telephone and I almost had to use the other hand to stop it. I go, what is this? Who's in control of my body? What is happening? I just closed my eyes and I breathed and I met somebody. I met the man I was avoiding all those years, decades. That was one of the transformational points in my life. It didn't solve my problems overnight. I still work on the right system. I still work fighting the dead loop. It's fucking here and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lifetime journey and I don't mind. Because as I rise every day, I get those benefits. And I just wish you could as well. Let's recap. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just stuck in a loop that rewards your weakness and takes away your power. Every time you numb, you scroll, you rage, you blame, your brain gets a hit, but your soul loses ground. You don't rise by trying harder. You rise by making rising automatic through a system. And that system is called rise. Because your power doesn't come back by accident. It comes back by design. Now, if this video hit you right in the gut, good. Subscribe for more gut-punching videos. Because in the next video, we're going to be breaking down why most men don't even know who they are anymore after divorce and what to do to rebuild their masculine identity that cannot be shaken. And if you know a man who's currently also looped, I invite you to share this video with him. Not to fix him, but to invite him. Because you're not the only one looped, but you might be the first one to break free. Now I'll see you in the next video, and until then remember, dads rise.